Serena.
Hello, my dear.
How are you?
Oh, so excited to be here. I always love our conversations and where they go.
Yeah, and the unconventional office that I am in today.
Yes, yes. Look at us. Like I'm trying to bring the natural vibe, and you really are out there in nature. So it's amazing.
Yeah, well, yeah, definitely. It's nice to be here. So, right, the purpose of this video, the title is The Bad, the Good, and the Supernatural. And I
Yes.
just thought it'd be a really good opportunity because obviously, more and more people are seeing the bad in the world, aren't they now? Like everyone's, oh, if I say everyone, more and more people are open to seeing the structures, the systems, everything's just like, I don't know. It's not as it seems, is it? And it can be
Oh,
scary, it can be fearful.
yeah. I
And
think we're going through a real big transition, a real big transition. And to be fair, it's one of the most exciting times to be alive on this planet. It really is. And for all of us who have incarnated during this time, do you know what I mean? For those of us that know are like, we're excited for it. And for those that don't, it's like, get ready for the wildest, the
oh,
wildest
yes,
awakening up to the truth that you've ever seen. Like some of the information I'm coming across at the moment is just blowing me away.
I
You
know. Tell me
know,
about it. It's
oh,
like the things that you've been finding out recently are just I've had a couple of years now on this journey. So I've been down the fear holes, I've seen
mm,
everything going on, and then I kind of come out the other side and got to the good bit. And then the supernatural bit, and it's like, oh my gosh, the conversations you and I have, Serena, are
yeah.
off the scale. But I think for the purpose of this video, and I'd love to do, if you're open to do this, I'd love to do like a series of videos with you
Mm.
because I just find our conversation so interesting. And I love one thing I absolutely adore about you is that like we know that nobody's an expert in any of this because we don't know. Humanity, we get taught certain things. We get put in boxes, we get there's indoctrination at school, we get this is how it is, these are the systems, these are controlled, this is how you've got to live your life. And then you step out of that. And it's almost like that ego part of our minds, that program part of our minds has to know the truth. It has to know how things are. But once you let go of that and you're open to finding out more, that's when we start to actually uncover really, really interesting stuff, which is exactly where we're at. And I just love it. I love this journey. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
It's interesting you saying that. It's like we're all looking for some sort of certainty, you know,
Mm,
and I think from the programming that we've all experienced, through our conditioning, like there's been people that have been positioning themselves as leaders, as experts, yet they've been sharing real misinterpreted information. Like an interesting video I was watching this morning with Billy Carson. So if you don't know who Billy Carson is, absolutely look him up. He is insane with his knowledge, but the thing is about his knowledge is he backs it up with so much facts, so much like artifacts that he's
mm,
researched into, especially around Thoth's emerald tablets and how Thoth actually built the pyramids. Do you know what I mean? So like we're
yeah,
all here, we don't know how the pyramids were built, and they were built on these like these wagons, these megalithic blocks on a wagon. Are you for real? Do you know what I mean? And there's actual tablets that state that he built the pyramids, yet we're still going, oh, who built the pyramid? We've got it. Why is this information not being shared widely
yeah,
and freely? And this is the sort of questions that we need to be asking now. So, there's so much that is being disclosed. This is why it's exciting now.
mm,
Like, within, let's say, the truthers community, within the spiritual community, we've always known as such, do you know what I mean? Like, something doesn't add up here, kind of thing. And we've held on to beliefs. We've received like channeled messages that have supported our beliefs as well around it, especially in the spirit kind of realms. Yeah, now's the time where it's actually coming out from people that are really, really intelligent as well, like
yeah,
really intelligent and knowledgeable, saying that this stuff is absolutely true. So what you were believing in, it's true, So again, it's an exciting time to be alive. We can all just sit back now and be like, oh, I knew it, and I guess it's not a time to be like, oh, I told you so, because it's not about that. It is literally just standing in our own truth with that, knowing that, we've been fighting a good fight for a very long time. Do you know what I mean? In the truthers community. And now it's time that, the time is that more light is being shown upon this. So
yeah.
more and more people can actually wake up to the truth. And these people are real fighters and front runners, that are really putting their lives on the line. Do you know what I mean? This ain't like no joke. Do you know what I mean? This ain't just
Mm.
people coming out going, oh, guess what, it's true now. They're literally putting their lives on the line to get this information out to us. You know, they've had death threats, they get constant death threats, you know, from very powerful
It's
people.
it's deep and dark. It's like JFK,
Yeah,
you know? Like,
yeah.
did you watch that video on Trump?
No, I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, you need to watch it. So this is
I
like
watch
just
it so
saying
much
about
at the moment.
Serena and I. So my journey, I went down all of the. It was the start of the pandemic for me when I started asking questions and like questioning everything, and then you start to realize that actually everything, like every single system out there, you know, our education system, the political system, the health system, the financial, it's all just about control. It's all just about making the rich richer, or the cabal or elite or whatever you want to call them, like building them up and keeping us like as little minions and keeping us down and not knowing our power. And when you kind of get your head around that, it can be really scary, which is the bad part of this. But what we want to say is there is a really good part, and then there's a supernatural part, which we're kind of touching on already. And I'm kind of thinking, let's take a journey, Serena. Let's bed it in nice and easily. But yeah, and the good part of this is the fact that when you realize that one of the main reasons why we are kept like minions in our little jobs, in our little worlds, you know, kept in entertainment and kept busy, 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 because we never get to tap into our true power, because we are energetic beings, right? And we can literally create our reality given our energy and what's inside us. Like, we are so powerful. This is what they do not want us to know. And we'll tap into that. But what I was coming back to, my point about Trump, and this is something that we've discussed, and this is what I love about you, because yeah, my path was that he's actually one of the good ones trying to undo the systems behind the scenes. And you know, you can see how the media rips into him, and that's ramping up even more now. And I shared a video with Serena. I was like, take a look at this, not take a look at this. This is gospel, this is the truth, but take a look at this, use your own discernment. And this is the thing, you know, we've always been told exactly what to think, exactly what to believe, exactly how things are. But we have to just look at things and think, okay, that's interesting. And use your own, tune into your own intuition, tune into your own heart, and you get to feel what feels right for you. And yeah, so I'll put the link for that video here. But yeah, definitely watch it, because I'd love to have a discussion with you about it.
Yeah,
Because I think behind the scenes, he's one of the people who's really trying to push humanity to wake up, really, and expose all of the corruption for what it is.
yeah. And I think you've touched on a really important part within that. It is about using our own discernment now. So the best way to approach, obviously, with all the information that's been disclosed at the moment, is literally by being open-minded. You know, so having that open mind and wanting to see what other people are seeing as well within, you know, what they're sharing around what their beliefs are as well, just to see if it's something that aligns with your truth. And using your own discernment if it doesn't, and that's okay. You know, we're in the time now where it's about finding our own truth from within, you know, and this is where a lot of the supernatural crosses over into that, because a lot of the things can't be explained, so obviously we call it the supernatural. Yet there's even more science coming out to back up, you know, a lot of our spiritual experiences, you know, within the quantum field, within quantum physics now, to really help people go on that journey and trust in that journey and trusting in the knowledge that they have from within, because that's what we're taught. We're taught from a young age not to trust ourselves. I mean,
Yeah,
you can't trust yourself. You've got to trust the system. You can't trust
yeah.
yourself. You've got to trust education. You can't trust yourself. You've got to trust what I say, you know, people that we look up to and aspire to as role models in our lives. And I think this is a big part of our physical experience here, is literally that we're all born into the same system. You know, we are all conditioned pretty much in very similar ways, you know, because it is a global system. You know, even though they've got like different, you know, different parts to it, it is a global system that we're all being brought into. And we've got to go through that journey of finding and fighting that it's not external validation that we're seeking, it is internal validation. So from going within, and then literally when you have that connection, and this is what we speak about a lot, when you have that connection to yourself and to what you're truly connected to and a part of, your whole life changes and transitions in a way that you cannot even explain. I know that. I know.
Yes. Oh,
like,
yes.
oh yeah, I'm going for
Yes.
it. And it does, doesn't it? And you just have a sense. So in life, you have a sense of adventure. You have a sense of really trusting in the unknown, because how many people fear the unknown? You know,
Everything's just fear, isn't it? You don't do anything. You stay in your job because you're scared about your mortgage. You stay. Everything you do is just fear
scared of
based,
made
and
up
that's
things.
exactly.
It's made
Yeah,
up, it's a made up system. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? Obviously that we need, you know, fundamentals and basics in lives, like the hierarchy of needs tells us that. Do you know what I mean? We do need the basics. We need shelter, we need warmth, you know, we need water, we need food, you know, we do need the basics. Yet there are different ways to go about, you know, accumulating those basics. You know, we don't need to be in a rat race, you know, trying to get the next best thing. You know, like another good book that I'm listening to at the moment, Rich Dad Poor Dad. Do you know what I mean? Where he's literally
yeah.
saying that a lot of us is all we're doing is accumulating debt.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
100%. It keeps us trapped. But
Yeah.
what I wanted to touch on as well, and I was going to say this earlier, you've used the word spirituality, and spiritual a few times now. This was a massive trigger for me, and I'm going to explain why. Because I
Yeah.
know from me, you know, it's like I was brought up as a Christian. Well, my dad was very, very Christian. We went around like literally every denomination of Christianity there was, and the idea of God being on a cloud, this man full of judgment and instilling fear into us all. That was my upbringing. It never resonated with me that I need to be in a church or in a building or go through a vicar or a pastor to, you know, to meet God or whatever. Because I was like, what? Why is that person in that church like better than me, kind of thing. But
Mm.
when I went on my journey, and like I said, I went through all the fear, and then I realized actually we've got this massive power inside of ourselves. It's like, hang on a minute, how does this relate to the man on the cloud that is part of my core beliefs? And do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I
And
love
then
it.
Serena said about cognitive dissonance. You know, when something contradicts, when you hold like these really deep beliefs about our reality, about what we think and believe, and we've held on to them for so long, and then something else comes and questions it. It's like, you cannot, your subconscious will not let you believe it. It will not, and it will fight back, and it'll be like, absolutely not, because it is so uncomfortable to you to lose that identity, that old version of you who believed that and who's created all of your life and everything that you are around that belief system. So for me, that was like a big turning point for me. I was like, oh my goodness, what is this? I literally have been programmed to think tarot cards are of the devil, like spiritual, even the word I couldn't say it. It was like, whoa, this is weird. But all it is like Serena said, it's just tuning into the inner part of you, like you in your deepest level, you know, shut your brain down. Your mind is programmed with TV, everything that's going on. You rush, rat race, constantly going. When you just try and shut that down, and I'm going to use the word meditate, and again, that's a trigger because people see a monk on a mountain. All meditation
Tibetan monk
is stopping
meditating.
thought. Yeah, and sometimes you get that through music. For
Mm.
me, it's like ironing or washing up. You know, I get my voice in my head then instead of thoughts running through my head, and that's like me connecting to me. And that is the golden thing that you need to take notice of if you want to move away from this rat race, from this system, from these structures. You find utter peace in there. And oh, sorry, I'm going off on one, Anna, Serena.
No, you really do.
I just,
You're exactly right, Laura. That is
if
it,
I
inner
if
peace.
I um, you know, and then you start to question, don't you? Because we're so trained to seek that external validation. Is that really me? Is that my higher self talking to me? Because only part of us are actually in these physical bodies. Like, we are spiritual beings, and our higher selves are like, you know, somewhere up there or around us or wherever. We can't see it. Again, we can only see 1% of this optical, what we see around us is only
Right.
like 1% of the light spectrum. So I
Right.
could have fairies and unicorns all around me. Who knows? Nobody knows. And this is the thing.
It's mental,
So
isn't it? That literally when we have unexplainable experiences and then we're like, oh,
yeah,
we doubt it. And then
yeah,
you realize that actually, like what you've just said, we only see 1% of the light spectrum.
yeah, exactly. And then you want validation. So, and this was me, and you know how much I've doubted myself over the time I've known you, and you've helped me so much. So
Mm.
Serena helped me on this journey as my spiritual coach, which is absolutely blooming brilliant. And we're going to come on to Beyond the Veil in a second. But yeah, if you look for signs as well, you can ask. You've always got your guides with you. You've always got a team of guides, and again, Serena can explain this more. But signs really helped me. So you might notice repeating numbers. You might notice number patterns: 1111, 2222, 1313 is like one of my biggest ones. Feathers, robins. You know, just be
Yeah.
aware. Slow down and start to be aware of what's actually around you,
Yeah.
because you'll pick up on things. Just start to trust yourself. You know, forget everything outside of you and just start to trust yourself. Right, over to you, Serena. Sorry. ran
No,
over.
exactly. No, exactly what you're saying. You know, it's just to echo that. Like literally, we live in a world where there's so much noise, so much noise, so much distractions, so much to keep us locked into like numbing ourselves, you know, kind of thing, rather than finding these answers that are so clearly apparent around us, but because we're so distracted, we just don't see them, you know. Like you
Mm.
said, that our spiritual team are around us, constantly communicating with us. Do you remember that session when I took you beyond the veil and I wanted you to see how hard how hard our spirit guides work?
Oh yes, yes, that was
Yeah,
mad. It was
crazy,
mad.
isn't it? But they
Just
do.
got a plane going over. Can you hear me? Is it really noisy?
No, I can't hear it at all. I find that though, you know, like obviously because it's high up, you can hear it, but we can't hear it through the microphone. But yeah, so our spirit guides literally
Sorry,
work.
I couldn't hear you because I just had a helicopter going over. Just say that again.
Just saying that our spirit guides work
Yeah, yeah.
extremely hard to get these messages through. So most of us obviously see it in the number sequences, the feathers, the robins and stuff, and people can go, yeah, well, you know, that's just obviously
Mm.
coincidences and stuff like that. Yet they're not. Do you know what I mean? Like our guides communicate more frequently in these ways because it is more common knowledge. Yeah, if you really strip away the noise and the distraction around you and really open your eyes up to the constant messages that are going around you, you will see them in all sorts of forms. You know, it's not just the numbers, it's not just, you know, the songs that come through and play at a certain time. It's not you just thinking of that person that's crossed over who's actually your guide now. It's in so many different ways. Like I'll never forget when my guide was trying to communicate to me, and because my guide's Chinese, you know, and he was trying to communicate something around something going on the earth. And then literally, and I hardly get anything like this through my door, but literally as I was thinking it, I got a Chinese takeaway through my door and it literally said New Earth on it.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like but I could have just seen that and gone, oh, it's a Chinese takeaway. Yet I was thinking those thought patterns. So they will send you messages to confirm what it is that you're seeing, but you've just got to see it. You really got to see it,
And
that it's
that's,
all
yeah,
around
and you've got
us
to
all the
be
time.
open, just be open to this as well,
Mm.
because like an example, sorry, I don't know if I cut you off there. I don't know if there's a bit of a delay. Um, I was sat in obviously now we've put the house on the market. I'm on this journey. We don't know what the next 6 months like how it's going to unfold. It's so exciting because I know my image in my mind. I know what I'm manifesting, and this is, I'll do more videos on this, but I'm manifesting like amazing things. So I know the universe is just going to unfold the next step and the next step. So I was literally sat in the garden the other week and I was just sat having my cacao in the garden. I said to my guides, I'd really like, an idea of what the next step is now, please, because, I've put a house on the market. I'm stepping out in trust. What does this look like now? Within 24 hours, right, I'd had a conversation with a lady that I knew. I knew she lived somewhere in Spain, didn't know where it was. It turns out she's 10 minutes, an hour's drive away from somewhere that I really, 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 really want to visit. It's like a kite surfing hotspot. The girls would, and Roy absolutely, want to go down there. I was like, oh, that's interesting. That's a coincidence.
Mm.
And then it turns out that one of my best friends has just come back from holiday and she knows somebody who needs somebody to house sit in exactly one of the towns that Eva recommended to me on exactly the coast that she said would be perfect. I was like, is that a coincidence? Is that my guides? I think it's my guides. The next thing, I had a conversation with another friend who lives in Spain who told me actually she's going to travel down to that exact area in Spain in October. I was like, out of all of the world, this small area that I was already looking at, Riffa, has had 3 people mention that they're there. Not only that, I've got another friend in that area as well. It's like, oh my
Right,
goodness.
tribe. Your
Yes.
whole tribe's there. That is so
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah. So
Love
when you
that.
stop questioning and you're like, nah, that's coincidence. Nah, 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 that's not possible. And you realize actually there are
Mm.
no coincidences. And that is true. That I know whenever you say, oh, it's a small world or, put it down to it's not. It's not. It's your team working with you. Just be open to it. And the more you step into it and trust it, the more you're going to see more and more stuff going on around you.
Yeah, yeah. And I love that story as well because you asked for that guidance. And that's the thing as well. Like our guides will respond. They are
Mm.
always around us. Yet if you want them to step forward and help you, you have to ask them a request because it's part of your free will. They can't just come in and bombard you like with loads of stuff. They're there just like, oh, I'll just send this little guide or little message. So quite a lot of the message that we get from them is, I'm here, like say through the 111s, the 222s, you're on the right path. I'm here. you know, and then literally once you start connecting a lot deeper with them, then they will send you like more significant messages like that. So you asked for it and they delivered. Yeah, you could have also turned a blind eye to those messages. So again, like quite a lot of the times we ask for stuff, but sometimes because we don't get what we want, we question it. Do you know what I mean? Yes, our guides are helping us get what we need, you know, as well. So we don't always get what we want, we always get what we need that is here to help us in our journey. So we think because of the conditioning, we're born into this life wanting a bigger house, wanting, you know, a successful career, wanting a retirement plan, wanting the kids. Do you know what I mean? Like we have all this kind of like idea of what we're coming here for, like as in like a higher purpose. Yeah, quite often through going beyond the veil, a lot of the purpose is to be the light. Just radiate, just radiate your love and light, you know. Yeah, we seem to think it's got to be something really big, and the only reason why we think it's that in that form is because of the conditioning we've had. So if our guides are guiding us somewhere completely different, it's for what we need, why we've chose to come here, for the lessons we're here to learn. Yeah, like I say, because it's not I want a bigger house kind of thing and I want it now and it doesn't show up like that, we think then that we're not supported or we can't manifest, you know, when in some cases that's not entirely how it works, you know what I mean? Like they will guide you. I mean, look at your life in the last 6 months where it was in that direction and you were like, okay, well, you know, I'm happy with that direction and it's good. Yeah, you know, because you wanted to open up spiritually, it's like a boom. Okay, let's put you over here on this timeline now where it's going to be really exciting because you're going to really be open to what you're capable of, like your potential. Let's throw you into that big ball of potential and see you soar. Do you know what I mean? See you fly, and that's where you are, you know. And like these transitions aren't always easy either, you know. We go through dark nights of the soul. Like I went through a dark night of the soul to transition into my spirituality because it was my guides, and I can see it clearly now, you know. Of course, when I was in the dark night of the soul, I couldn't. I was in victim mode. I was like, why me? Why is all this bad stuff happening to me? Why am I not, you know, getting the success I want to get? Why do these problems always happen? You know, and I was very much in victim mode until I came out the other side of it and started healing myself, wanting to feel different, wanting to feel better. And because I took that kind of control to create my reality on how I wanted to feel, that's when the spiritual shifts come in. You know, the more you clear out the gunk, the toxins, the toxic kind of mentality that we've been conditioned with, the higher you ascend spiritually to the truth of who you are and what you're truly connected to. You know,
it's basically like unlearning everything that you've learned about yourself. One of the really deep pivotal points for me was self-love. I remember doing a belief coding, and we'll just mention belief coding as well because that's how we met each other. So belief coding is a form of energetic healing, and we need to probably expand on what energetic healing is as well because people might not know this stuff. So we met through belief coding. So I was working on myself and I did a session on myself, and I couldn't say I love myself. Like when I was working with my subconscious, you know, the part of us that controls like 95% of who we are, I couldn't say I love myself. And then I realized that I've carried that with me all of my life. So part of me being who I was, is like constantly trying to seek approval from everybody around me, constantly trying to be the perfect mum, the perfect wife, the perfect friend, the perfect this, that, and the other, because I didn't feel like I was enough to be loved how I was. And as soon as that lifted, like that's when Serena said, my whole life changed. I thought I knew what my life was going to look like. Oh my goodness, absolutely not. But this is the thing, you know, you've got to really, really trust your spiritual team because they know they're connected with my higher self. Before I came to this world, I have a soul contract here. Again, we'll probably come into this on another video because that probably sounds a little bit out there to some people. But I want to do what I came here to do. I want to do that. So I put my trust into my guides, into my spiritual team. And they're making sure that I will get the incredible yacht where I want it, and I will get the amazing house next to the sea in a warm country. But it's the journey that's going to get me there because I need to have the impact that I wanted to have when I came here. That, you know, I need to do all of this stuff, but it's a journey to get there. Yeah, if that just came like that, it's like, okay, what's next? But it's so exciting just watching the path unfold. Like it's just the most incredible time.
It really is. And like I say, you know, everyone needs to be looking at their journey as the becoming of them. Do you know what I mean? So I look at my journey as the becoming of me. You know what I mean? And like, you know, your journey is the becoming of you. So it is like, first and foremost, we come here to really learn karmic lessons, you know, that we're kind of tied into in our incarnations. And as soon as we've learned those valuable lessons, again, it's not really about having, you know, a house and stuff like that. Yet once we've learned these lessons around loving ourselves, that's a massive karmic lesson. You know, the root of all people pleasing is a lack of love of thyself, you know. So as soon as you learn the karmic lessons like loving yourself, respecting yourself, honoring yourself, valuing yourself, like everything comes back to self. Everything's a mirror of the self, you know, and we have to learn that in this journey, you know, for our own spiritual expansion. Once we've kind of got through those big lessons, yes, they will repeat themselves. They do trust, you know, they do test our boundaries with them and see if we've actually learned. Yeah, as soon as we've learned that lesson, then we can really step into true empowerment, you know, of what we're here to create, because we've learned the lessons, we've cleared belief systems as well. So like what you're saying with belief code, and belief coding is amazing at transforming your beliefs, so from negative beliefs into empowering ones, so that you can fully trust in yourself, you know, and empower yourself to kind of continue on that journey to have the success that you want, you know. So through shifting your beliefs and through your own spiritual expansion, you're now in a place of that trust. You know, I know we go through moments where we're like, oh, you know, we have our little wobbles, you know, we're human at the end of the day, we all do, you know, we all have those wobbles where we doubt, you know, some part of it. Yet we still continue blind faith. We continue that blind faith on that path because we know there's a part of us that remembers, there's a part of us that knows that actually it's going to lead us somewhere just incredible, you know, through that journey. So even with the self-doubt, you can still embark on a spiritual journey, because again, it requires that blind faith, stepping into the unknown and just having that trust. That trust overpowers the doubt, you know. And then the more you're on that path and the more you're trusting in it, the more things are confirmed on that path, aren't they? And more things open up. So then you think, oh my gosh, I would never go back to that doubtful path. Do you know what I mean? Of doubting and being in so much fear. Yeah, it's not saying that you wouldn't fear a path into the unknown. It's just you learn how to cope with it and you learn how to manage it. You learn how to kind of just overcome it with love, you know, like, and it's not like saying, oh, I want to get rid of fear. You can't get rid of fear. Fear is a big part of who we are in this physical experience. It's about how we deal with that fear, how we nurture that fear, how we nourish it, like give it love, you know, and say like, I'm forgiving myself for having this part of me, you know. So Elizabeth Gilbert says an amazing quote about fear, where she says that like it can come along for the journey, but it's not taking the wheel, you know, like in the car. She says it's in like the back seat. I don't even think it's in the passenger seat. It can be in the back. Fear, you can be in the back seat, but you ain't taking the wheel. Do you know what I mean? So I'm still going to carry on. Yeah, fear is going to come along in those journeys with us, and that's okay. You know, again, like I think sometimes we limit ourselves by wanting to get rid of fear, and then we get frustrated because we can't get rid of the fear. It's like anything, isn't it? The more you focus on something, even in a healing journey, that's something I found, because I wanted to get rid of my fear. You know, I just wanted to get rid of it. And then the more I was trying to get rid of it, the more focus I was putting on it and the more fear I was feeling. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy of it. So then I realized, actually, I need to accept this part of me, and that's okay. You know, accept this part, learn to manage it, regulate it, cope with it. You know, there's so many kind of tools out there now anyway in the healing space that can help you keep it at bay. That's all it is. It's just keeping it at bay and trusting yourself, having that self-trust that can just be a bit more than the fear. That's all you need to continue in a path of blind faith, you know, which is what you've had, getting you to where you are. And now look at you, like, how excited are you for your journey ahead? Like, it's insane.
It's like, it's just, people ask me, well, where are you going? What are you doing? People are looking around the house, like, you know, if you're in the house to buy it. So what's your plans? Don't know. It's like, what? Who does this? Me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I know it's
amazing.
going to be incredible. I know it's going to be the most amazing, like the next 6 months, a year is just going to be fantastic. And this is it, because I've built up my trust in my guides, in my team, and you just know when you feel good inside of yourself, you know you're on the right path. You know your feelings and your emotions are everything, and I think it's probably quite important now. You know, it'd be cool to be able to maybe just help people that might have heard of spirituality for the first time, you know, heard of this, like, what are they talking about? Let's give them some, like, you know, pointers of how we can tune into who they really are. I think the first thing would probably be just whatever makes you feel fearful or worried or scared, or those low, you know, those emotions that just make you feel really down. Just try and move away from those. Like, whatever's making you feel those, like, try and move away. If people, situations, whatever it is in your life, just try and get rid of some of those. try and tune into things that just make you feel better. Like, yeah, just feel what brings you joy, what brings you happiness in your life. It's not selfish. It's your service to yourself that you have to be here to bring your energy up, to bring your vibration up, and then you start to be able to tune in to who you actually are, like to your true self. And like I say, when you something feels good, that's a massive indication that you're on the right path. So the
Yeah.
more you can do in your life to make you feel good, the better you are being at being a human.
Yeah,
Or
so
yeah,
true, so true. And I think that's, like I hear about it a lot. It's like passion. Passion is such an important factor in helping you find your joy. So when people, like so many people, because of the conditionings, the beliefs, because our beliefs create all our reality around us. So if we believe that we're only good enough for a certain job, we'll stay in that job. If we believe that if we leave that job, we're not going to do as well, we won't leave that job. Do you know what I mean? Like our beliefs literally create our whole reality, even with the people that we're with.
yeah,
So many people stay in relationships a lot longer than they should do, through what they think they deserve and what they will tolerate on a literal subconscious belief level. So if you want to change a reality, if there's a reality that you're in right now that you're struggling with, the first thing to do is literally question those beliefs, find tools out there that can help you change your beliefs. And there's belief coding, there's hypnotherapy, there's meditations, there's so many things that can help you change your beliefs by bringing up that information that we all have access to within our subconscious minds. Yeah, because it's stored there. Yeah, we can recode them, we can change them, we can transform them and transmute them into something more serving for us to help us create our reality and help us move forward. So that's first and foremost, I would say, like in kind of going on that journey to transition. It's like just taking stock of your life. So many people are, like I say, are so distracted that we're walking around unhappy. We're walking around unhappy, and we're not even trying to get to the root of the cause of why.
yeah,
We stop and just kind of think and allow ourselves to think, like, what is making me feel so unhappy? What is it that I'm not happy with in my life? Do you know what I mean? And like, just start documenting it. That's what I started doing. And I did it when I was 40. I wrote in my journal because I felt like my 30s, I didn't really enjoy my 30s a lot. There were like two major highlights in my 30s, which were, one was having my son, and the other was traveling around the world for 5.5 months, because I just handed in my notice and had enough. I was in a position for 16 years and left it, just went traveling, thinking it would
wow,
sort all my problems, which it didn't. I had an amazing time. Yeah, I was running away from problems and totally didn't realize, silly of me, that they'd still be there when I got back, like because they were within me, kind of thing. And then
yeah,
I got to when I was 40, and I really look back on the last 10 years of my life, like, is when you come up to big birthdays, it does. And I remember thinking, like, I'm not happy with my life. I'm seriously not happy with it. So I literally wrote in my journal, I am setting a new standard for myself. And literally the standard for my 40s is going to be completely different. I'm raising the standard from my 30s. So I wrote down things that I weren't happy with, what I wouldn't tolerate anymore, and what I wanted to work on. And because I made that commitment, my spirit guides had a bit of fun and caused a lot of chaos in my life. And this is the thing, when you like literally put out what it is that you want to the universe don't just go, oh, here, magic wand, here it is, that reality that you want. What you guys will do is go, amazing, this is what you want, right? Okay, so you just need to clear out all this shit. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
All this
yeah.
shit you've been putting up with, it needs to go. And because you're not getting that message, your spirit guides will help make things really uncomfortable
Oh
for you.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Really
yeah,
uncomfortable. Because, and to be fair, it's not even our spirit guides that are making them uncomfortable, it's us, because we've
yeah,
already stated what we want. Our subconscious beliefs are coming up to cause that shit, because it's a mirror back at us. So we have to literally clear it out and rebuild it, and
yeah,
rebuild that new foundation into that new future that you want to see for yourself. You
yeah,
literally have to do that. There's no other way it's going to happen.
yeah,
No one's going to swoon in and rescue you.
yeah,
This is where you have to really take a step out of that kind of victim mentality of
yeah,
why me, and kind of step into empowerment. Why not me? I'm going for this kind of thing.
yeah.
This is the life that I want. And do you know why? Because I deserve it. I literally
Because I
deserve
love
it.
myself.
Yeah, I love myself. I respect myself. And as soon as you do that to yourself, it becomes a mirror. Yeah. So the more you love yourself, the more love you attract to you from people, and vice versa. The more love you put out there in the world, because you're living in a really nice, place of love.
Yeah.
Love is like the best place to be. You know, you respect yourself, then you see respect from other people, and vice versa. And it goes on and so forth. So if you're feeling that people don't respect you, it's because of a part that you don't respect yourself, you
Yeah.
know, above,
Yeah.
you know, you respect others above yourself. If you don't trust people, you know, when people go, oh, I don't trust people, you know, oh, trust is earned. I hate that. Oh, trust is earned. No, it's not. Do you know what I mean? Like, trust is given until, you know, obviously something happens and all you do, it's not lost. It's just, I'll walk away. You know, obviously that person's got lessons to learn, you know, but I don't want them around, you know, in my life. So you've got to trust yourself. As soon as you trust yourself and have that self-trust, then you'll find that people around you are more trusted. And this is how the transition works. So those people, once you start working on your beliefs and doing that healing, going through that transition, you then start seeing the old wash away, you know, like we've all done, you know, like we've seen old friendship groups just go away.
Yeah.
Like, I've not even had to do anything. Like they've literally just been taken out of my life. Like, I don't mean like taken out, tell me, but like, they've just drifted away
Yeah.
from me, you
There's a
know.
lot of us that have experienced that, isn't it? Which, you know, it's not a bad thing. It's just that, you know, your vibration changes. Like naturally, you pulled, you gravitate towards people on the frequency that you're on. So if you're in a place of not loving yourself and not respecting yourself, then naturally you're going to draw people around you that are exactly the same. And when you start to heal and become the person who you truly are, and get rid of all of these beliefs, conscious, subconscious blocks, beliefs, opinions, conditioning around you, you know, then you start to become you, and you're going to gravitate towards the people who are more like you. Then, does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. And
Yeah,
it's
everything's
an
like
actual
a
fact.
reflection.
It's an actual fact. It happens, you know.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, we sometimes when we go through these transitions, we can fight to hold on to them. Do you know what I mean? Which something we should do. Like a lot of people grieve people going through, you know, like losing people in that way. People grieve it, and I'm like, should you know, don't grieve it. It's making it, and it is making space for something new to come in. As long as you see it that way and you're open. Again, things become a mirror. If you feel that people aren't going to come into your life, they won't. If you believe that they are, they will. You know, it's literally power of beliefs, and those beliefs literally create your reality. So if you want to operate from a lack, you know, you know, it is from your beliefs. You know, I'm feeling a lack of people who love me around me, so you will continue to feel that. So you do have to change your beliefs first and foremost on a fundamental level, even before I feel you can really expand spiritually.
Yeah, yeah, and it's interesting as well. Just one before I just want to talk about going beyond the veil with you, but the last thing I just want to say on this is, if you notice repeated patterns in your life, like if you're the kind of person who has like bad relationships, or this always happens, or that always happens, notice it. What is it teaching you? It's not just happening to you. It's trying to show you something about you, about your core beliefs that need to come up. And yeah, just like Serena says, just notice what's going on in your world around you. Start to get a handle on it and realize that actually this is you attracting this to you. It's something in you that needs healing and repairing and understanding. And like Serena said as well, a lot of the time it's subconscious. We don't even know it. So, you know, we know our conscious beliefs and things. We know, you know, certain things that we believe about ourselves. You know, so a lot of us can relate to not having any confidence or not much self-worth or whatever that is. Like, dig into that. Why is that? But then you do need help to get to the really deep subconscious stuff. And that, my darling, will bring us on to you telling us all about the incredible modality going beyond the veil that you've created.
Yeah, oh, I feel so humbled, honestly, sometimes, you know, when I think about being given this gift, because I still believe I was given this gift, you know, even though I was doing work and I was being curious in the ways of how I could develop something like this, it definitely came through as a downloaded gift from my spirit team. And this is the thing, if you're really curious about something and you really want to have an impact and help and solve problems, your guides will work extremely hard to give you that gift, so that you can do something with it, you know. And this is what going beyond the veil is. So the reason why going beyond the veil was created was because last year I was going really, really deep in my meditations and seeing all sorts of fascinating things happen in them, and I'd share it with my friends. So then my friends would say, oh my gosh, I don't know who my spirit guides are, I can't connect to them, I can't meditate. And you know, they were saying all these things, and I was like, well, there's got to be a way where I could help people then. Do you know what I mean? Like connect with the guides, like surely, you know, and like they've done guided meditations, and still wasn't getting anything. So I was like, I wonder what I could, what I could do in this way. And then that's when it got downloaded to me, the meditation for going beyond the veil. So going beyond the veil is a guided meditation. It's a guided meditation to a certain point, and then I take over. And help navigate in that session through asking questions that you want to know. So you come with questions, or we talk about those questions in in the time before the session takes place. So we talk about them. We also talk about spiritual healing. Spiritual healing is so powerful and so profound. It's hard to explain, half the things that happen in these sessions with what I've seen. Yeah, with activations as well. So we can receive healing,
yes.
receive activations, initiations. We can also reconnect with crossover loved ones. So that is one of my favorite parts of the sessions, actually. You think it would be the activations, because honestly, I've seen some really amazing, phenomenal things happen with activations. Yeah, my favorite part is crossover loved ones, because giving people the chance to reconnect with their loved ones, and it's just such an emotional moment, and I see it in them, and I see the tears and the emotions come up, and in that moment, and giving people that time and that moment to reconnect with people, it's just beautiful, and they take something really profound away from it, the messages that come through from our crossover loved ones as well. So,
And just mention as well, on that, just with the crossover loved ones, sometimes, we believe, don't we, you're dead and that's it. It's like, no, no, no. You connect to that higher part of yourself, and that you're all encompassing, like, love and incredible. So it's a really beautiful experience for people, isn't it? To be able to experience that and see their loved ones actually having an absolute ball
I
in,
know,
like, out of this
fine,
reality, out of this 3D dense place
yeah,
that we are in.
yeah, and completely free as well. So a lot of the times, as you can imagine, because when we lose crossover loved ones, sometimes it's not always, we didn't always have the best relationship with them before they went. So sometimes we carry a lot of guilt around that, so then when they meet the crossover loved ones, that connection, and literally so many of our crossover loved ones, the first thing that they say is, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And the reason for that being is that when we cross over, once we've met our guides or our crossover loved one who wants to meet us at the veil and help us transition, because that's what happens. We always meet someone that's familiar to us. Even our guides are familiar to us, even if you don't know them in this lifetime or haven't connected, will be a part of you that knows. Do you know what I mean? So you always connect with someone that that can help you transition. Once you've transitioned, you literally get the flashbacks. So it's like an analysis, a review of your life. Not only do you get it of your life, you get it of other people's lives. So like you see it from their perspective, which is mind-blowing, isn't it? So you get access to how you made that person feel in their thought patterns afterwards, from that space that you're in.
But
Because
not from a judgment point of view, just to add.
no, there's
No.
literally no judgment, there's no
Yeah.
how. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? I don't know where these concepts have come from, because I've not come across any of it in any meditations or going beyond the veil or anything like that. And interesting, again, Billy Carson is coming out with real good information at the moment to suggest all the misinterpretations and mistruths of the Bible.
Yeah.
It's fascinating, especially about Jesus. Absolutely incredible. So yeah, look him up, because that's the truth, not the Bible, unfortunately.
I think there are aspects of truth in all of the ancient texts, but they've just been injected with so much fear.
Yeah, but those truths in that the Bible have been copied from scriptures that were out before the Bible, 1,000 years before the Bible. They've been copied, plagiarized from these scriptures, mixed up a bit, added in a bit of BS as well.
Divide up. Let's create some religions. You can have this bit, you can have that bit, you can believe this bit.
Absolutely, that is literally what's happened with it, for coercion and control. And the funniest thing, I know we're going off tangent a little bit with this, but the funniest thing is, in my session yesterday, when I had a hypnotherapy session yesterday, in that live session, and it was fascinating, because what I was shown was an old planet and how it developed forward in time. And then the reason why our planet hadn't got to that level was because of religion.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Religion. And it makes so much sense. Religion has held us back spiritually and scientifically.
Yeah.
With technology. It's bonkers that it has that much power, that it has stumped our growth. Do you know what I mean?
But just to say, for any religious people watching this, it's, yeah, we're not saying like God doesn't exist. He does. He's just not in an organized building following rules
See,
full of
I've not read,
judgment and fear.
yeah, I've not read much of the Bible, so I don't know too much
Yeah, I don't
about
either.
the connotations or what it is that people believe. I do know there's a lot of teachings in the Bible that are true, that are true.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
I
but
mean,
it's like
I'm
there's
saying
the
religion's
different ones
money
for the
doesn't
different
have a
religions. Like I
mm,
don't know what the different religions are as well, because I was obviously pulled out of all religious education in school. Um, but yeah, I think there's elements of truth in everything.
yeah.
But and it's like one of my guides that Dawn helped me connect with was Lord Ganesh, the
Mm-hmm.
Hindu elephant god. I was like, Hindu elephant god, what? But yeah, I've called him in to help move and clear blocks that have helped me move forward on my spiritual path. Like a
Yeah,
Hindu elephant god, like what? Do you
yeah.
know what I mean? So it's
Like
like,
what you're saying, it's true, like, because religion can be limiting, and that's all we're saying. Religion can be
yeah,
limiting. We're not
yeah,
saying that it doesn't teach good practices, because it does. Do you know what I mean? Not all of them are good practices, because like an eye for an eye,
yeah,
stuff like that,
yeah, yeah.
an eye, like I heard something the other day and I was like, oh my gosh, an eye for an eye would make the whole world blind.
Mm,
You know what I mean? So again, it's just thinking
that's what
about
they want, isn't it? We
yeah,
are
the
all blind.
statements and connotations, you know what I mean, that have been driven through this practice. And this practice, we're not saying, oh, it's just, oh, there's a book here called the Bible, you can read it if you want to. It's not like that in some communities. It has literally been forced, you know what I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah,
enforced upon people. So again, it's like, why? You just kind of got to wake up and ask these questions of why has this happened in this way? Why is this known as the only one truth when a lot of it don't make sense as well? Do you know what I mean? So it's just questioning, use your discernment, people. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. What
Question stuff,
feels right.
challenge the status quo of what we've already been here to believe. Why have we been here to believe this stuff? Question
Yeah,
it, be curious about it, do your research, find information, really take it to that next level if you really want to know what's really going on here, basically.
yeah.
But anyway, and so in going beyond the veil, the spiritual aspect, I'm trying to bring it. I'm like, oh, I was talking
I
about
know.
going.
I'm just thinking. I've got my. I just had my 20% phone battery thing warning come up, so we probably need to wrap this up like really quickly.
Yeah, okay. So I'll talk about going beyond the veil then. So going beyond the veil, yeah, it's a spiritual connection and healing modality. Basically, I connect you to spirit guides. So if you don't know who your spirit guides are, even if you do know who they are, it's a stronger connection than what you would get in your own kind of meditation practices. So I connect you with your spirit guides and any other spiritual beings that want to communicate with you. I've had galactic beings, I've had ascended masters, I've had universal councils and other spirit councils. So it depends on who wants to speak to you and who wants to communicate with you and connect with you on the day. So it's about being open to whoever can come through, because they've all got significant, really important messages which are just so profound and so beautiful. So you can find out things like, what's my purpose, what am I here to do, what's my biggest karmic lesson, what do I do about this? I mean, our spirit guides can't make decisions for us, yet they can try and guide us in the best possible way for us through things, especially if it's a transition period. So that happens. And then spiritual healing, they give you spiritual healing activations if you're ready for them, because not everyone's ready for an activation, but we can ask on the day. And the healing, like I say, the healing, I've had people literally in the session a couple of weeks ago, someone had shoulder pain, and they healed the shoulder pain. And then I always say as well, like, can you just check your shoulder, see if it's there, move your shoulder around. And she's going, like all this movement. And I was like, you're searching for the pain, aren't you? And she was like, yeah. I was like, is it there? She went, no. And I was like, see, you know what I mean? So like, again, like some of us are like, what? Like, it can really heal pain. It can heal trauma. It can heal a multitude of things. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's just a real powerful session, and it not only is it in the session that you get to connect and communicate, your guides will give you a practice to do there on after the session.
yeah,
So the amount of communication you get after the session is, you know what I mean? So the magic continues. It's not just in the session, it continues in your
yeah.
life. And that's what I created it for, so that you have that connection, you have that communication with them, you have that guidance throughout your life, because it will open up to the most amazing things that can happen in your life with that guidance.
It's a pretty phenomenal, I can't say the word, phenomenal experience. And I would recommend it. Everybody needs to have a session of going beyond the veil and going beyond the galactic veil.
I
But we're going
know.
to have to end this, Serena, I'm afraid. So I'm going to put your links in the description on this video, so everybody can find you. And we need to do another video because there's so much. So we'll organise that.
Yeah,
But
absolutely. There's so much to talk about. So yes, we'll cover that in another session.
amazing. Right. Thank you everybody for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and share and subscribe and all that jazz. And we'll speak to you soon.
So bye.